thank you all for joining us today. We're delighted to present Daniel Pink's book titled Drive, The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us. Over the next few slides, we'll explore the key ideas in the book, share various application ideas, and present our group's overall view of the value of this book. By the end of our presentation, we hope you'll be compelled to read this New York Times bestseller. The key components of Part 1 in Daniel Pink's book is Motivation 2.0. Pink describes the notion of motivation through the central concept of carrots and sticks and shares his view on when this approach will triumph over other motivational strategies. In this context, carrots and sticks refer to the traditional external motivators where individuals are incentivized to perform a task through the promise of rewards, carrots, or the threat of punishment, sticks. Pink argues that while the carrot and stick approach may work for simple mechanical tasks with clear instructions, it falls short when it comes to more complex, creative, and cognitive tasks that require higher order thinking, problem solving, and creativity. Part 1 of Pink's book continues on by sharing how an American psychologist forced a change in how we think about what we do, and as a result called into question many assumptions of Motivation 2.0, which accounts for human biological urges and the drive to seek reward and avoid punishment. The foundation of Motivation 2.0 is the mindset that to improve performance, increase productivity, and encourage excellence, one must reward the good and punish the bad. Pink presents several reasons why this traditional approach fails in motivating people effectively. The 7 deadly flaws of carrots and sticks are presented on the slide. Finally, Part 1 of the book concludes by providing us perspective between 2 distinct motivational frameworks, Type I and Type X. These frameworks, as presented by Pink, represent different approaches to motivation and are based on the principles of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Type I individuals are intrinsically motivated. They are driven by the inherent enjoyment, satisfaction, and fulfillment derived from the activity itself. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose are at the heart of Type I, which Stephanie will expand on momentarily. Type X individuals, on the other hand, are primarily motivated by external factors. They are driven by rewards, recognition, and the avoidance of punishment.
The key components of Part 2 and 3 of Daniel Pink's book is Motivation 3.0. Part 2 describes Motivation 3.0, and Part 3 provides a toolbox to help incorporate motivation into our lives. Motivation 3.0 assumes that people want to be accountable for their action. It also seeks employee engagement rather than compliance, and values purpose maximization instead of solely profit maximization. Motivation 3.0 focuses on engagement and intrinsic motivation, and it is achieved through 3 components: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. The first component of Motivation 3.0 is autonomy. Autonomy over task, time, technique, and team. Autonomy of task is allowing employees to work on projects of their choosing. For example, 3M allows their employees 15% time to innovate, and that's when the Post-it note was developed. Gmail was created during an employee's 20% time at Google. Other organizations have FedEx days, in which they have one day with the freedom and creativity to deliver a new product or idea. Autonomy of time refers to more than just flexible hours. It's the idea of focusing on the results or the output rather than the input or how many hours an individual works. It's the change from charging billable hours to a flat rate. Best Buy Corporate uses ROW, or results-only work environment, and according to Pink, it has seen an increase of 35% in productivities. The employees get to choose when and where they work. Autonomy of technique is the ability of the employee to choose how they do their job. For example, Zappos and JetBlue have call centers without a script to follow, which is rare for a call center, and they allow their employees to have the freedom to work from home, and so that they only have to focus on the best customer service. Lastly, autonomy of team refers to giving people the freedom to choose who they want to work with. For example, Whole Foods allows its employees to vote on whether or not to hire an individual full-time, and Facebook allows its new engineers to choose which team to join. The second component is mastery. Mastery refers to that intrinsic desire of individuals have to get better at things that matter. Flow is an essential component to mastery, but it doesn't guarantee it, as mastery takes time and flow is immediate. Flow is that relationship between what a person must do and what they're capable of. In fact, when what a person must do exceeds their capability, then anxiety ensues. And when what a person must do falls short of their capabilities, then the result is boredom. But when what a person must do matches their capabilities, the result is flow. It's that optimal moment when the goals are clear and the relationship between the two is perfectly matched. Additionally, there are 3 laws of mastery that are described in part 2. First is that mastery is a mindset. It's that incremental theory of intelligence focusing on learning goals rather than performance goals. Second, mastery is pain. It requires time, effort, commitment. And lastly, mastery is an asymptote, which means we can get close, but we can never truly achieve. There's always room for more growth. Mastery is important because it encourages engagement, and engagement is needed to survive. It is the oxygen of the soul. The last construct is purpose. Purpose is hitching one's desires to a cause larger than oneself. Motivation 3.0 does not negate that profit is important, but it emphasizes the importance of purpose maximization. Pink stresses the importance of increasing intrinsic motivation and engagement of employees by focusing on the organization moving towards purpose-oriented goals, words, and policies. Organizations need to evolve their goals from profit only to those that pursue a purpose. Similarly, organizations need to change the dialect to humanize what their employees are doing, like using words greater good or sustainability of resources. It's also changing the organizational culture from obsessing over the how and emphasizing on the why. Lastly, the organizational goals and dialect changes, so does the organizational policies, leading to a culture change, motivation, and ultimately employee engagement. This is a quick summary of the evolution of motivation, from Motivation 1.0, which focuses on biological needs, to Motivation 2.0, which is transactional, to 2.1, which finally recognizes the existence of intrinsic motivational factors, to lastly Motivational 3.0, which focuses on intrinsic motivation and encouraging engagement through autonomy, mastery, and purpose.
The value of Daniel Pink's drive, the surprising truth about what motivates us, lies in its ability to challenge conventional beliefs on motivation and offer a fresh perspective on the intrinsic drivers that fuel human behavior. The reading presents a perception-broadening perspective that questions traditional notions of motivation. Daniel Pink's research-based approach draws from scientific studies and real-world examples to support his arguments. Pink reminds us to think beyond incentive and consider and reflect on what we believe about motivation as we know it. The book emphasizes the importance of autonomy, mastery, and purpose, or Motivation 3.0, in driving human behavior. Motivation 3.0 emphasizes that self-realization through autonomy, mastery, and purpose unlocks human potential, fosters creativity, meaningful contributions, and overall well-being, which encourage us to rethink traditional approaches and embrace intrinsic drivers for a more purposeful life. The book's principles have practical applications in various settings, including leadership, education, and personal development, and how to incorporate Motivation 3.0 into our daily lives. Drive encourages readers to question their assumptions and explore new possibilities for motivation. The writing style is clear, engaging, and thought-provoking, making complex concepts accessible to all readers. Finally, Drive provides actionable insights for creating environments that cultivate creativity, innovation, and personal growth. Overall, Drive is a game-changing book that offers a fresh perspective on motivation and can lead to a more meaningful and fulfilling experiences for readers of all backgrounds and life stages.
Now let's move to talking about ways that we can apply the information that we learned from this book. One particular leader that I think would benefit a lot from this book is someone that's working to build up intrinsic motivation within their employees. Someone that's moving away from the old school style of carrots and sticks leadership style. Someone who finds value in being a more modern, contemporary, collaborative leader. I think about someone like my boss in particular, who is leading a group of individuals that work remotely. Whenever you work remotely, you have a lot of autonomy already. You know the goal, you're working towards mastery of that goal. But I think sometimes being so far away from headquarters, you can start to lose sight again of the purpose. And so a leader who's leading individuals working remotely would benefit a lot from this book. I also think about leaders who are wanting to help employees and followers grow. not just give instructions, achieve a goal, give instructions, achieve a goal, but someone that's really working to coach their employees and followers. I think about those in education, principals, instructional coaches. I think that they could really benefit from this book. There's a type of coaching that I once had whenever I was teaching that my principal used, and it was cognitive coaching, and it helped a lot. It helped me to be autonomous as far as which goals it was I was working to achieve, to help me be a more masterful teacher, and again, connecting to that greater purpose, which is such an important element of this book.
In conclusion, we wholeheartedly recommend the book and believe it's a valuable addition to any leadership library.